Here's my Gravekeeper deck, and I'll start with the monsters. First off, I have one Malefic Cyber End Dragon. It's basically for attacking, just summoning them out to beat down the opponent. I would run Stardust Malefic, but I only have one Stardust, and I use that for Starlight Road. 3 Commandants to search for Necro Valley. Only 2 Descendants, because if you have too many, it's either you'd rather have it in the deck and you don't want too much of it. You'd rather have cards with more options. 3 Recruiters for the searching ability, of course, and you can always sacrifice them with Descendant to destroy a card and then get the search effect. 1 Assailant, and I know some decks don't run this, but I think it's very good against high attack monsters. They have good attack mostly, but not very good defense, so you attack into them, and then you switch it to defense, destroy the monster with Necro Valley on the field. Then, of course, a staple here for Gravekeepers, 3 Spies. The Spy with Necro Valley, most cards can't get past its defense, and then you can always flip it up. When it flips up, you get a monster, and I usually get Descendant and then destroy the Spy and destroy one of their cards. 2 Guards, and I know a lot of decks don't run him, but he is very good against synchros like Yugioh and Exceeds, my bad. Like Yugioh and all them, he can just flip return them, and he usually doesn't get destroyed with Necro Valley on the field because he has 24 defense with it. And then last but not least, a Sangan. Sangan is basically just to search Guard and Spy because I can't search him with Recruiter. And on to the spells. 3 Dualities, just for the simple fact of drawing, and this deck doesn't special summon that often, so you don't really have to worry about that on Duality. 3 Necro Valleys, which is basically what your deck runs around. With Necro Valley, it really works against decks like Chaos Dragon, which remove cards from the graveyard. It negates that effect of something like a Light Pulse Hard Dragon, and negates the Red Eyes Darkness Metals effect of bringing a dragon back, and it negates bringing back Hornet for Exectors, negates Monster Born, all that stuff, and I get 500 attack and defense, which is very good for my deck. 1 Book of Moon, just for the simple fact it's Book of Moon. You can use it for a lot of things. 1 Dark Hole, destroy the field when they have a bunch stacked up. I only have 1. 2 Gravekeeper Steel, and I know this might be a controversial card for some decks, but I think it's really helpful in the end of the duels when you don't have any monsters left because the deck doesn't run many. You can just bring them back with Steel and do multiple things. 1 Heavy Storm, because it's Heavy Storm, it's a staple in most decks. And only 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, because I don't like running too many, because sometimes it could be a dead draw. On to the traps now. 2 Solemn Warning, because Warning can basically negate any summon. And I think it's pretty good, like when you're going against cards like Rescue Rabbit, like you don't want that card to activate at all, or Tori-Eyed, or maybe a Dragon. Only 1 Starlight Road, because the destruction thing of Dark Hole, Heavy Storm, or other cards, you can just negate it. You can summon Starlight, you don't have to, or Stardust. 2 Bottomless, for those high attack monsters that can get through Gravekeepers, you just bottomless them and they're gone. 2 Compulsories, and you can use these for a lot of things. Say you want to compulse your own monster back to use its effect, or you want to compulse it from being destroyed, or you want to do it to your opponent so he can't summon the monster. 1 Deprison, because I don't really feel like running 2. It's good against most any deck. You can they attack into it, you remove it, and it's gone. 1 Mirror Force, of course, destruction. 1 Solemn Judgment to basically negate anything. Like even the littlest things like a Rescue Rabbit, when they have nothing on the field, could change the whole duel. So I might just want to use this to destroy it. And then 2 torrential tributes for when your opponent starts stacking their field, you can just pull torrential and they can't do much about it. And that is the end of my Gravekeeper deck.
You want to say how well you've done with this deck recently? Because you only come back in the game in a few weeks.
I came back probably less than 2 weeks ago, and I've gone to my local tournament, which is pretty competitive. And I went 3-1 both weeks. Last week I faced a Dino Rabbit deck, and we went to game 3 and we timed out. And I had a choice to play Dark Hole, and I had like a guard face down. He had like a Logia, he had like a Photon Papilloperative and another monster. So I had a choice of either playing Dark Hole and hoping he didn't have another monster in his hand, or like a Mystical Space Iceman to destroy Necro Valley. But I did, and he ended up having another monster, and he attacked me, and he won the duel.
If it wasn't time, he would have won.
So yeah, that's my deck.
So that's pretty good.
Hope you liked the video.
Yep, deck's pretty good, affects meta, and hope you like this video.